Hey, folks. My name is Dave Kydd. I'm a psychotherapist, and this is my podcast, the I Am Podcast, Internal Art Museum, where every week we explore images that I use in counseling, and they help me and my clients to understand some of the concepts in my psychotherapy practice a little bit better. We are doing episode 6 today. 6. So welcome back. It's great to have you. I have my sidekick, Lily. Lily, give a whoop, 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 whoop. A little bit louder, please. Whoop, whoop. Okay, a little bit quieter. Perfect. So this is going to be really exciting today because we're exploring a new gallery. For the first time, we're going to be talking about moving pictures. That's what I'm going to call this new gallery, moving pictures. In the past, we've explored images, we've explored pictures that help explain concepts from my psychotherapy. But today we're going to explore how movies can help us understand these psychotherapy concepts as well. They help increase the emotional punch of the points I'm making, and hence we call them moving pictures. Moving pictures. Most of the movies I discuss are very well known, so I'm sure you'll know most, if not all of them. Warning, there will be spoilers. So here we go. Today we're going to explore our first moving picture, which is The Wizard of Oz, classic from the 1930s. Everybody seems to know it. I think in my 20 years of doing psychotherapy, in my 25 years of doing psychotherapy, I think I've had one client who isn't aware of The Wizard of Oz movie and the plot and how it goes. But I'll make sure that you're aware of it because we're going to do a little synopsis of it to start off. So get your ruby red slippers on. Let's explore. So I was actually listening to some of the past episodes, and I realized that for you audio folks, you may not be getting the full experience the way I want you to. So I'm going to try as hard as I can to remember to explain all of this stuff visually for you. So we've been going through picture by picture. Today, of course, my lovely Lily daughter, she has been doing amazing pictures. And today she's going to represent the movie, The Wizard of Oz, in a single picture. Can she do it? I think so. So here we go, describing this picture for all you audio folks. So we've got the big scary head of the Wizard of Oz, and we've got the little girl, Dorothy, who is scared of this big wizard head, which was my nickname in high school, by the way. Very embarrassing. Big wizard head. Anyway.
Okay, people are going to think you're serious.
What?
People are going to think you're serious.
Yeah, my nickname wasn't Big Wizard Head. So, disembodied head, big, scary, little girl scared. That's Dorothy, by the way. But you folks, you audio folks don't know this, but Lily has actually drawn all these characters to kind of look like me. So in a ridiculous turn of events, my face is on Dorothy's face. Can you imagine? And my face is also on this big fat wizard head. Yeah, so for you audio folks, the curtain is partially pulled, exposing just the butt of the old man who is the wizard. And then we've got Toto, of course, pulling that curtain halfway aside to expose the wizard's dastardly trick. So, very well done, Lily. Very, very well done. And I think I've explained that. Have I?
Mhm.
Yes. Okay.
Mhm.
So, I think that's it. Take care, y'all.
No.
No. Okay. So, if you're that person who hasn't seen The Wizard of Oz, you're going to want to know what the hell we're talking about. So anyway, I asked Lily to prepare a synopsis.
No, I did not. I don't want credit for this.
In a way that was as clear as possible.
No, I did not. Wait, I'm going to give it to you from above and you're going to be like,
oh, from The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
I got this directly from The Wizard of Oz. Thank you, Whiz Kid. All right. So you did this, Lo?
No, I don't.
Jeez.
I don't take any credit for this whatsoever.
Okay. Anyway, so this is a synopsis of The Wizard of Oz, prepared by my daughter.
No.
And
it's not.
Hopefully you'll be able to understand exactly what The Wizard of Oz is all about. So, okay, here we go. Aight, pull up. This is The Wizard of Oz remix, Cardi B edition, no cap. So boom, little Dorothy from Kansas minding her own business. Then a whole tornado said up, snatched her, and Toto, like a repo man, landed splat on the Wicked Witch of the East, shoes still on fleck, dead. Glinda float in like a fair god baddie. Sis, you just got bodied her. Here go the ruby slippers, drip certified. Then the Wicked Witch of the West slide in hot, them kicks mine. Dorothy like, touch it, and it's on sight. Glinda whisper, Yellow Brick Road, boo. Emerald City got the plug for getting home. Dorothy click, click, bet, and started skipping. First, the scoop scarecrow, dude flopping like a TikTok dance with no rhythm, begging for a brain. Add me to the gang. Next, Tin Man, all oiled up but still stiff, crying rusty tears. I need a heart. I'm too cold. Then Cowardly Lion roar but duck behind bushes. I need courage. I'm shooketh. Whole squad popping off down the road. Flying monkeys trying to snatch. Poppies trying to put him to sleep. Witch throwing fire like Coachella. They finally pull up to the Emerald City, looking like a green Versace runway. Wizard behind the curtain talking mega. Bring me the witch's broomstick or stay stuck, period. Dorothy and the gang go full savage, sneak in the castle, splash the witch with a bucket, melted, snatch the broom like receipts, bounce back to Oz, and boom. Dude just regular scammer with a hot air balloon and a mic. Fake flex. But he still slides the gifts. Scarecrow, get a diploma. Now I'm book smart, hottie. Tin Man, got a heart clock. Now I feel I'm in my bag. Lion, got a medal. Now I'm brave. Roar on these haters. Dorothy like, all right, but I'm trying to go home. Glenda popped back. Girl, you had the juice the whole time. 3 clicks. There's no place like home. And poof. She wake up in Kansas like it was a dream. Still won. Moral, you're already that girl. Stop looking for validation. Just click them heels and own it. Oh. Yeah, that's right. So remember back to episode 2, we were talking about how your life is like a movie. You remember that beautiful picture that Lily made of that cloud villain hovering over little me dressed up in superhero tights. Does that ring a bell, Lil?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're going to add a little bit to that today. So remember, the villain in our life movie is our problem. Now, everybody's got a different problem. Sometimes it's anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, anger management. These are frequent ones. And we personify that problem. We make it into a character that becomes an untrustworthy source in our life. Everything that comes from it is bad news and we shouldn't listen to, because villains are bad news. They're untrustworthy sources. So we're going to learn a little bit more about villains through our exploration of the Wizard of Oz character. So, Lily, what is your favorite movie villain?
Well, I liked the pale orc, I think, from the Hobbit.
The
movies.
pale orc from the Hobbit movies. Yeah. Lord of the Rings, Tolkien. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about how villains often have their own unique strategies for getting at the protagonists. So what was the pale orc's strategies for getting at the protagonists?
I haven't seen it in a while, but like a lot of it was psychological
In what sense?
terror, like constantly pursuing them and like stalking them, so they never felt comfortable and they were always kind of on guard. And then a lot of it was like mass forces, like they would all go in at once and like hopefully they would be outnumbered, that kind of thing.
Right. Right.
Um,
Then there was the jumping out of the ice strategy.
which is also psychological warfare.
Yeah, that's true.
Thinking that he was dead, but he wasn't.
Right.
He
Yeah.
was just always trying to make sure that they weren't comfortable. He wanted to like break down the pride that, what's his name?
Thorn of Oakenshield or something?
Thorin Oakenshield. Yeah.
Thorn Oakenshield.
Yeah.
Was
Of
the
course, obviously.
Yeah, I know. We were going to name you that, but we just haven't. Yeah. That was, if you haven't seen the last scene in the movie, or one of the last scenes in the movie when the pale orc comes up through the ice, you got to check that out. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then of course there are other famous villains like Scar from The Lion King. His strategy was to get at Mufasa through his son, right? What was his son's name? Simba. Yeah. So Mufasa was the Lion King and his son was Simba. And Scar knew that Mufasa would do anything to save Simba. And so he put Simba at risk with that big wildebeest stampede. And Mufasa fell right into Scar's trap and got trampled to death. Yeah. So, and then all the Marvel villains, of course, right? There's two lords.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So villains use strategies. And a lot of our villains use the same strategy that the Wizard of Oz uses in this movie. So you remember from Cardi B's explanation of the Wizard of Oz that the Wizard of Oz wasn't really a wizard at all. Dorothy and her friends go to the Wizard of Oz for help with all of their problems, only to find that this big booming voice and scary disembodied head is no wizard, but it's just an old man with a microphone. It's all a trick. It's all illusion. And so often our villains use this very strategy. They know that they're not powerful on their own. So all they can do is try to trick us into believing that they're powerful. The Wizard of Oz, that old man with a microphone, was only as powerful as he could make his subjects in the land of Oz and Dorothy and her friends believe he was. If he couldn't make them believe he was all powerful, he wasn't all powerful. And when Toto exposed the trick by pulling aside that curtain, all of that power left immediately. They couldn't be scared of him anymore once they knew he was just this old guy with a microphone. Our problems are exactly like that. They seem all powerful because of the message that they send us all the time, that they are all powerful. But as soon as we push back, we find out that they really don't have any power. So the best strategy to use against these villains is to expose the bluff, to turn and look them straight in the face and say, I don't believe you. And then try as an experiment, as a protest against this villain, to do exactly what it doesn't want you to do. And it won't be able to stop you because it doesn't have any power. Let's look at some of these therapeutic villains. So some people fight an anxiety villain. Some people fight a depression villain, a low self-esteem villain, an approval of others villain, an anger villain. So I don't know, Lil, out of all those, which ones should we pick? Anxiety villain, low self-esteem villain, approval of others villain, or anger villain?
Anger villain.
Anger villain. Okay. Okay. So let's say your villain in your life, your problem villain, is the anger villain. We're going to personify that problem of anger and make it into the thing that wants to ruin your life. Okay? So if that anger villain uses this strategy of trying to make you believe it's powerful when it isn't really, so what's the anger villain going to do? How is the anger villain going to convince you that it's all powerful? Well, one way is to shine its selective spotlight throughout the history of your life. And it highlights all of those times when anger got the better of you. Of course, it doesn't highlight any of the times when you got the better of anger. It only puts a bright spotlight on the times in your past when anger got the better of you. The anger villain makes it look like it's had complete control of you throughout your life. It's a selective spotlight controlled by this thing that wants to ruin your life. So you can't trust it. But if it can get you to trust it, then you're going to assume that your whole life has been controlled by this anger villain. And if it's controlled you your whole life, then it's probably going to control you in this moment too. The anger villain says, look, I've run your life the entire time. So of course I'm all powerful. And of course you have to listen to me right now when you're planning on flipping off this guy that cut you off on the 401. At the highway in Ontario, by the way. For those of you watching from New Zealand, hey, shout out to New Zealand, by the way. Lil, anything you want to say to New Zealand?
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen, yeah. So our German New Zealanders, woo!
They're out there.
So back to flipping on the 401. So it says, I controlled you all throughout your life. And so I'm going to control you in this moment too. When I tell you to flip off that guy in the 401, you're going to flip off that guy in the 401. If you've watched this podcast and if you think maybe that's not the case, maybe my villain is like this Wizard of Oz with no real power. If that's the case, I don't have to flip off this guy. I don't have to flip off this guy in the 401 if he's cut me off. And you can try to not. You can try to maybe take some deep breaths instead and see what happens. That's calling the bluff of the anger villain. And is there anything the anger villain can do when you don't flip off this guy on the 401? No. And then you leave the situation feeling more empowered. You realize you've grown in stature and the anger villain has shrunk, just like the Wizard of Oz. And it's going to be a lot harder to believe the anger villain the next time it tries to use that trick. It's been exposed as not all powerful in the past, and you remember it. And so it's going to be a lot harder for it to pull the same trick. In fact, it would be a great idea for you to try to remember all of the times that you've been stronger than the anger villain, because the more instances you can remember when you were more powerful than this all-powerful anger villain, the easier it's going to be to see through its illusion and not do what it tells you to do. And if you don't do what it tells you to do, you don't listen to the thoughts that it puts in your head, it can't affect you. Because the only way it can affect you is through your thoughts. And so if you don't allow those thoughts to influence you, if you don't engage with those thoughts, it's not going to affect you. So all of this we learned from the Wizard of Oz. This sneaky trick that this old guy pulled. Not all powerful at all, just like your villains. And so we've learned that just like the Wizard of Oz, your villains don't have the power they say they do. And it's up to you to call them out. All right. We have landed smack dab in the middle of the ends. And we're all done for today. So, of course, back to this picture, you can see Toto pulling the curtain across. and exposing the old man. And that's what you're going to try to do. You're going to try to expose your villains so that they don't have the power they say they do. So we're going to end it there for today. But before we do, I got to remind you. So I want you to poke the like button, just poke it. And then I want you also, if you're able, to just ever so gently, just blow on the subscribe button and click the notification bell, because you can do that too. And I'd love it if you leave a comment. I'll respond to it. So I hope that helps today, and take care, yo. Hey, folks, this is Dave Kydd, and I'm Dave Kydd, and this is Dave Kydd, because I'm Dave Kydd. So this is it. Hey, folks.